In today's video, I'm going to give you the 6 best Epiphone electric guitars which are current production models as of shooting this video. Here we go. Welcome back, folks. My name's Shane. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. This video is not sponsored, so if we can get the video up to 500 likes or so, that would be awesome. It really helps the video get shared around. Alright, so in today's video, as I mentioned, I'm going to give you the 6 best Epiphone guitars, at least in my experience and opinion. You're also going to see and hear some sound samples and video samples of each of these guitars. As always, this comes from personal experience, either seeing them, hearing them, or playing them in person. So here we go. The first guitar on this list has to be the Epiphone Les Paul 60 Standard. I love this guitar. I think this is one of the best, most affordable guitars out on the market right now when it comes to a Les Paul style electric. Now, if you're in the market for something with humbuckers and you're on a bit of a tight budget, this is definitely one of the best options out there. Now, this has a slim taper neck, so it's not a big chunky neck, which will appeal to people who obviously like a faster kind of neck. They say faster being thinner, but generally speaking, the 50s necks are a whole lot fatter. Now, this particular guitar has the ProBucker pickups, which I think are some of the nicest sounding pickups that Epiphone have made. Interestingly enough, I went from playing my Gibson Flying V over to the Epiphone in the session that's probably playing on screen right here, and I gotta tell you, the Epiphone really held its own. And the Burstbucker pickups in my Flying V sound fantastic. So in terms of feel and tone and value, this definitely gets the big thumbs up, and I'm gonna put it as the first guitar on this particular list. The second guitar on the list is the Epiphone Les Paul Special in TV Yellow. So if you don't know, I actually own a Gibson Les Paul Special in TV Yellow, and after picking up the Epiphone and checking it out, it was so similar. It's got the nice big fat chunky neck, and it's rocking 2 awesome sounding P90 pickups. So if you're looking for something a little bit different to your standard Les Paul, then this would be a great choice. It has a whole lot of mojo. I love the TV Yellow finish, and just to let you know how they landed with a TV Yellow finish, it was because back in the black and white days of television, the old guitar finish used to reflect light back into the camera, and it was a huge problem. So they went with TV Yellow, which looks the same as white when it comes to black and white TV. So that's how they ended up with that, and I think it's a really great look. Not only that though, it sounded fantastic, and Dr. Rick really let it rip on this guitar. Just seeing them side by side with the Gibson was eye-opening enough. These are a really great guitar, definitely worth a look. Links will be below. The third guitar on this list is the Epiphone .335. I've actually owned 2 of these over the years, and they've changed slightly, but I really feel like now, because of all these great guitars that Epiphone are putting together, these are some of the best out there. Now, they've made some changes on the new model compared to some of the old model, and that's that the neck's not quite as fat on the current production models, but the pickups that they put in here sound fantastic. And one of the biggest differences between an Epiphone pickup and a Gibson pickup is usually the Gibson pickup has a little bit more of a fat sound to it, and generally speaking, the output on the Epiphone pickups aren't as loud. I've compared lots and lots of Epiphone and Gibson guitars over the years, and that's generally how it is. It's not always, but it's generally how it is. Now, one of the things that works to this guitar's advantage is because the pickup isn't as mid-heavy and it's still got lots of top end, I actually prefer the sound of an Epiphone Dot over a Gibson. Having owned Gibsons, Epiphones, Tockeyes, and just about everything else, these Epiphone Dots sound great. And Dr. Rick, man, he was letting loose on this guitar. And as you can hear, there's plenty of top end. So if you're looking for a good quality 335, I would recommend this over just about anything else on the market, given its affordable price point. Fourth on this list of best Epiphone guitars is the Epiphone Prophecy Flying V and Explorer. I'm going to combine both of these together because both of these guitars totally rocked. I was shocked not only at the build quality of these, but just how great they sounded. So there's a few differences between these and a lot of the other Epiphone guitars on this list. These are more aimed at modern or higher gain players, but they can also do traditional tones beautifully. They're not overly expensive when you compare them to some of that of Epiphone or Gibson guitars. So they're sort of like right in the middle of the sort of more affordable guitars and where Gibson price points begin, at least here in Australia. Again, links to all of this stuff will be below, and you can check it out in your part of the world. But one of the best things about this is we get the Fishman Fluence pickups, and both of them hooked, and they're basically the same guitar minus the shape, right? So that's why I'm combining these together. But man, just the feel of the neck, it's got a beautiful sort of satin finish on the back of the neck. The body finish looks amazing. And I just remember Dr. Rick going, man, these must be close to $2,000 in Australia. because they feel so good to play and they sound great. We checked the price, it was like $500 less than that, which is a pretty good deal here in Australia. Again, prices will vary in different parts of the world. But I was shocked, being that these are aimed at more higher gain players. We played some higher gain stuff with them. They cooked, and they'll do anything like any guitar will, but you've got to be a fan of the aesthetic to really get a kick out of these. But overall, I think they're beautiful sounding, beautiful playing guitars that really hold their own with far more expensive instruments. Fifth on the list of best production model Epiphone guitars has to be the SG Standard. Now, I've had a chance to play the Arctic White one. I did a full review of that, and if you missed it, I'll link it up in the cards. The guitar that you're hopefully seeing on screen right here is the Epiphone SG Standard in ebony, and I think this looked great, but not only did it look good, it played fantastic. The pickup sounded so good, and it handled the higher gain beautifully. In this particular clip, I'm using it with a Fender Bass Breaker amp, just cranked, and I'm pushing it with a clon. I'm giving it all the gain I could, and it handled it beautifully. In terms of feel and playability, this is right up there with the best of them on this list. I also love the fact that the finish on these guitars finally feel and look a lot more premium than they do on the older versions, which was that cherry red one that you'd see in every shop around the world. So it feels like they're making better finishes on their guitars now than they ever have, which is why this is on the list. It's not only on the list because it sounds killer, it's on the list because it has great playability and the finish is far better than I've seen it in the past. So these Epiphone SG Standards, especially the Arctic White one, it's very, very nice. Go check it out if you missed that video. Like I said, I'll link it up here. It's definitely one of the best Epiphone guitars that you can buy as of right now. The sixth and final guitar on this list is the Epiphone Les Paul 50 Standard. This is easily my personal favorite Epiphone guitar ever. I think this is just a beautiful guitar in the hand, and having owned a Gibson custom shop VOS 56 Les Paul, there's not a lot of difference in it when it comes to feel. Now that might be debatable, but you're spending like $4,000 or $5,000 more on the Gibson custom shop as you would on one of these Epiphones, and the Epiphone blade itself, it's got a nice big fat 50s chunky neck that feels so good to play. The pickups in this guitar sing, they got all the top end in the world. They sound great clean. They also sound fantastic without a lot of gain as well. So if you just want to play cleaner, you'll be able to get those kind of tones as well. The finish on this also looks great. Now, if you've ever compared, say, a Gibson to an Epiphone, there is a visible difference between the gold top colors, but if you're not comparing them, who cares? So don't worry about that. If you just want a really functional Les Paul, it can pretty much get you out of any situation with really musical pickups, a great finish, and just a whole lot of mojo. Check out the Epiphone Les Paul 50 Standard. This is by far one of the best guitars of the year for me, maybe ever, when it comes to just electric guitars in general. If you missed my review, I'll link it in the description as well. Definitely give these a look if you're looking for a classic 50s instrument that doesn't break the bank price-wise. These are slightly more expensive than a couple of the other ones on this list, but I really feel like it's worth it. If I was going to buy one, I would buy this one. I love it. It's got the big fat neck. It's got really musical pickups that sound great when you turn down. It's got a really nice gold top finish, and the playability is second to none. It's as good as all the rest of them on here, but in terms of other models I've played over the years, it plays extremely well, and it plays just as good as any Gibson I've had a chance to play. And after comparing them back to back, I was like, man, this feels so good. Why does it feel so good? Again, links to all this stuff will be in the description below. If I missed something, or if you think it should have been on this list, comment below. I probably could have added 4 or 5 honorable mentions to this, but I'm going to wrap this video up now.